Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video for our marathon preparation series. Again, my name is Colin Martin, and today what I would love to talk to you about is tapering. This is generally like the period of about 3 to 4 weeks right up to the marathon, and how we can actually begin to prepare our bodies for that really big race effort. Obviously, we don't want to be pushing ourselves way too hard right before the race, so it's good to have some kind of a plan in those last couple of weeks just to establish how we're going to train to get our body rested and prepared for race day. Now, one of the really big announcement that I think would be great to share with everyone today as well is that I will be running the Pittsburgh Half Marathon, which is really exciting. So I'm hoping on race morning, I can find a couple people that have been watching these videos and we can chat before the race. And definitely afterwards, I would love to meet anyone who found these videos helpful and might have benefited from getting to see this kind of information. Right. So I will be at the Pittsburgh Half Marathon the morning of the marathon as well. So I'd love to see you all out there. Okay. One other thing that I'd like to point out, I'll share my screen from my computer super quickly, is my Strava page. It is open to the public for anyone to look at. So if you are ever interested in taking a look at the training that I do, or you wanted a little bit more detailed information about the type of training that I do, you can find my page just by searching Colin Martin and the Pittsburgh Track Club on Strava as well. Invite anybody to do that. And I think that's always really useful. You can take a look at this training log in here. You can see all of my different runs from week to week, as well as my mileage on the left side. And then if you click on this right side, on the desktop version at least, you can see all the races that I've done, particularly my marathon, which was the Philadelphia Marathon in November of this past year. So you can see races in red here. So I invite anyone to go back and you can actually look at all the workouts and mileage that I had run, just give you an idea of what a typical marathon build might look like. Even more recently, if you're looking for other races to do after this marathon, perhaps a mile or a 3K, a 5K, something on the track, or even on the roads, right? You can find a couple different races that I had done, one at Kent State, one at Youngstown State in January and February, respectively. So lots of really great information that's available to you on Strava. A lot of athletes, even professional athletes, have their data open to the public. It's great inspiration. It's where I get a lot of my inspiration for training from. And I think is a really great tool for any runner who's looking to build their knowledge of running and the sport in general. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen from a different device here. And then I will walk you through what this training plan is going to mean as you lead up to the marathon itself, okay? So again, just to give you an idea of what tapering is this idea of lowering the physical stress we are putting on our bodies to improve our recovery before a very big race effort, okay? Now, what this doesn't mean is that we have to stop running, right? And that's a really big factor here. The whole idea behind tapering is to not necessarily break any routines that we have, but just get recovered so we can race as well as we can on race day. Keeping that routine and keeping our body moving is the key to this tapering period, because that'll keep our legs sharp, but also allow them to recover before this really hard effort. 26.2 miles is a very long way and is a feat for anyone to accomplish, any runner of any level. So it's important that we're rested up for that event, okay? So I'm going to take you through the last 4 weeks of what your training should look like. And we're approaching just about a month and a half away from the race. So these next 4 weeks are going to be coming up on your calendar, okay? The Pittsburgh Marathon is on a Sunday. And you can see that my schedule here goes Monday through Sunday. Your schedule might go Sunday to Saturday, but just keep that in mind, right? So this race day right down here is actually representing a Sunday. Okay, so keep that in mind. The biggest thing that I want to point out are these totals right here, okay? The first thing I should say is these totals might look different for you. So if your maximum mileage was lower than 50 miles, or perhaps it was even higher than 50 miles, you might want to adjust the total mileage that you see on the right side here from week to week. But generally, again, whenever we're talking about this tapering period, about 2 to 3 weeks out, we want to start lowering our maximum mileage. So about 4 weeks out, we're still hitting our maximum mileage, but you can see we're steadily decreasing our total mileage for the week by a pretty significant amount, especially the week of the race. okay? And I've put a star next to this 20 here because this 20 seems very, very low, right? We've decreased the total mileage from our maximum even more than 50%. We're down to 40% of our maximum mileage here. But this 20 miles is not going to include race day, okay? So this 20 miles is just leading up Monday through Saturday. And again, giving our body plenty of time to recover, much lower mileage than our body has been used to recently. And then race day will be a big, big mileage day. So you can imagine, even with the 20 miles you're running this week, the race that you're going to be doing is 26.2. So still a 46-mile week when all is said and done, okay? Now, again, pretty typical structure from week to week. So if we're looking at this first week right here, we have a couple of easy days that are not outlined in blue. So this 4, this 5, this 7, and this 4 are all representing very easy days, that conversational pace that we've been talking about. And then 2 different workouts. On Wednesday for this week, we're going to do 4 by mile, so 4 1-mile reps at your 10K race pace. And again, your question might be, why are we running 10K pace before a marathon? Well, again, we want to charge our bodies up, run a little bit faster than our body's going to be required to on race day to get ourselves prepared for that very, very hard effort. We still want to stress our bodies a little bit in these workouts. But again, staying race sharp is a great way to make sure you perform well in the marathon as well. So 4 by mile at your 10K race pace, so significantly faster than your marathon pace, and taking pretty big rests, so 2.5 minutes between each one of the reps there, okay? All of this within a 9-mile run, so you might do a 10 or 15-minute warm-up, and then start this workout portion right here, and then another 10, 15-minute cool down, or just to get to 9 total miles on the day, okay? 2 very easy conversational pace days between these 2 workouts. And then this workout right here is technically going to be your long run for the week, okay? Now, generally about 4 weeks out from the big race effort, you want to do your last very hard long run, okay? So you can see that there are still some long runs in here going forward, but we're not going to be working quite as hard. 1 month away from the marathon effort, we want to have our last very hard, long run, okay? So you can see here, within a 16-mile run, we're going to have a 1-hour portion at the marathon pace that we're shooting for, okay? So again, you might do 3 or 4 miles of warm-up for this day right here for a total of 16, then go into this 1 hour of marathon pace running, and then cool down, very easy conversational pace to get to a total of 16 miles, okay? And again, still shooting for relatively high mileage that week. We're still a month out at this point, so we'll have plenty of time to recover going forward, okay? So the following week, so this is week 2 of our tapering period, right? You can see we've dropped mileage very slightly, right? But we'll start the week off once again with 3 and 5 miles. And you can also see I've thrown in these strides here on these easy days before workouts. If you're not familiar with what strides are, these are about 100-meter efforts. So just like the length of a track where you are working on your sprinting mechanics. And again, why are we using sprinting and marathon buildups? Again, this is just to turn those legs over, get our legs used to running faster before we run longer and slower, right? So these are like sprinting efforts, right? So just about 4 or 5 of them, and then maximum recovery. Until you are fully recovered, you could walk back to the spot that you started, or maybe even walk a lap on a track or something like that. But these are not meant to be taxing whatsoever. They're just meant to feel good and get the legs moving a bit, okay? Now, this Wednesday workout, after about a 10-minute warm-up, you go into 10 times 3 minutes at your half marathon pace. So again, slightly faster than your marathon pace and taking 90 seconds rest, okay? Now again, this seems like a very long workout. We're still a decent ways away from that marathon. We've lowered our weekly mileage, but we can still hit these workouts decently hard, okay? So this will still feel like a long and pretty hard effort, but still feeling decent, okay? So again, 10 times 3 minutes, 3 minutes of effort shouldn't feel terribly, terribly hard. And again, taking decent rest relative to the actual size of the repetition, right? So after 10 3-minute efforts, taking 90 seconds of rest between each rep, you might jog for 4 or 5 minutes, and then you're going to go into 400-meter reps or just one lap on a track at your 5K race pace. Okay, so these are significantly faster again. So again, you can go back to that VDOT calculator that I showed you in one of our earlier videos to determine, based on your marathon time, what a goal 5K pace should be, if you're having any trouble figuring out what those paces should look like. Okay, so a really solid workout. And again, just cooling down after you finish the workout portion to get to about 9 miles on the day. Okay, 2 more easy days, 2 and 3 miles on Thursday and Friday. And then on Saturday, this is not your technical long run, but another workout on Saturday, where you're going to be doing 3 sets of 4-minute, 3-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute efforts, okay? And in between each one of these efforts, the 4, 3, 2, and 1, you're taking 90 seconds of rest, okay? So 90 seconds between each one of the individual repetitions. And then between the sets of 4, 3, 2, and 1, you're taking 3 minutes, okay? So again, the idea for these types of fartlek workouts is what we call them, where you're speeding up and slowing down, is that the longer the effort, the slower you would be going. So for about a 4 to 5 minute effort, something like the front end of this repetition here, you might be looking at your half marathon pace. But as you get down to the 1-minute repetitions, you'd be running significantly faster, perhaps your 5K or even your 3K or your mile pace. Okay, so the idea for these types of workouts is you get a little bit faster for each one of these repetitions, and maybe from set to set, you also get a little bit faster each time. Okay, so again, maybe a 10-minute warm up and a 10-minute cool down, whatever it takes to get to 9 miles on the day. This 14-mile run is your long run for the week. But again, because there's no workout attached to this one, this can be at a conversational pace. Again, we're still getting our body used to running longer distances, but we're starting to bring down that distance a little bit, again, to help our bodies recover. So this long run right here, 16 miles, and then 14 miles, you can see we've dropped it a little bit. The following week, we'll run a 12-mile long run. So you can see steadily, we are decreasing that total mileage that we're running in these longer long runs. Okay. Going into week 3 of this 4-week period here. So tapering is really starting at this point. You can see that the workouts are getting a little bit shorter. The long run is definitely a little bit shorter, and definitely these efforts are not quite as long either. So for this Wednesday workout, 9 total miles with the warm up and cool down included, with 8 5-minute efforts at your marathon pace. And I can tell you from experience, this is a workout that I did 2 weeks before my race. These 5-minute efforts at your marathon pace should feel relatively easy compared to the workouts that you've done in your build-up so far. Right? 5 minutes at your marathon pace, in the course of marathon pace being maybe a 4-hour effort, 5 minutes of that is very, very short, right? So these should feel relatively smooth. You should not feel like you're straining too much. Hopefully, if your training has been going well up to this point, these efforts should feel relatively easy. So 8 5-minute efforts, and you're taking just 60 seconds of jogging recovery in between each one, okay? And then this last kind of workout that we're doing for long run workouts, at least, again, a shorter long run than we're used to, with the last 3 at the marathon pace, okay? Last 3 at your marathon pace. So again, finishing the run a little bit faster than your conversational pace and getting used to that marathon pace effort so you know what to expect on race day, okay? Final week, this is race week, which is going to be really, really important. We want to really focus on sleeping right and eating right this week, and that should go without saying for all the weeks leading up to this as well, but definitely this week. 2 very easy runs on Monday and Tuesday, with a 2 and a 3-mile run with some strides on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, this is the final workout before the marathon itself. You're going to do 15 minutes at your marathon pace, and then take 5 minutes of jogging, and then just some quick 5 times 1 minute on and 1 minute off efforts. So you do 1 minute on, 1 minute off, 1 minute on, 1 minute off, a total of 5 times. And those 1 minute on portions can be at a pretty hard effort. So maybe your mile pace or your 5K pace, somewhere in between there, right? And then taking 1 minute of rest, very easy conversational pace to recover between those repetitions, okay? And then you can see 4, 3, and 2 miles, very, very easy, very easy on the 3 days leading up to the race, okay? So one last thing that I forgot to point out here, and I wanna make sure that this is focused on here, is practicing fueling, okay? And what I mean by this, again, is if you are taking any gels or supplements during the race, you plan to drink Gatorade, you plan to take a running gel or anything like that, I would practice that within this long run. So generally, there's going to be people that are handing out cups of water, or you might be holding a gel in your pocket or in your waistband of your shorts on race day. If you can, during this 1 hour at marathon pace, it would be great to help your body get used to taking in those fluids or taking in that gel, just so you know, again, what to expect on race day. You don't want to be taking in a gel and have to throw it up or something like that, right? I mean, that happens. The first time I took a gel, the first time I drank Morton, which is another kind of hydrofueling that you can do during your marathon race, it did not sit well with my body. So it was really important for me to realize that. So I didn't go into race day saying, oh man, I didn't know what was going to happen, right? Some people have very adverse reactions to taking in fluids while they're running at a very hard pace. Okay, so make sure that that is practiced before marathon day, okay? So I think this is a really, really great overview. If you want to take a screenshot of this, or you want to take a look at my Strava, you can see my lead up to the Philadelphia Marathon as well, just to see what that looks like. But definitely take a look at this and consider what it means to be tapering. We're letting our bodies recover right before that really, really big race effort, okay? I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I just wanted to say again, thank you so much for watching these videos. If you found them helpful, I'm really, really glad that you've been able to use these as a resource. And again, very exciting. I'm very, very pumped to hopefully see you guys on the starting line of either the half marathon or the marathon on May 1st. So if I can see you there, I'm looking forward to it. And good luck in these final weeks of training. One more video to come. We'll see you later.